Hi, I'm Mike Moscolo. I want to talk to you today about how to cultivate a culture of responsibility and accountability. To do this, let's start by first talking about how not to cultivate a culture of responsibility and accountability. And the way it ought not to be done is the way that it's usually done, and it looks like this. What we have, of course, is some sort of a job description. People come in, they have their job description, has a whole bunch of responsibilities that they're supposed to do, supposed to maintain. And of course, you've got a boss, you've got the worker, and if the person is able to do these things well, they get rewards of some sort from the boss. You're able to please the boss. And of course, if they don't do these things well, they don't live up to their responsibilities, they get some sort of punishment, bad review, reprimand, an unpleasant conversation, all types of things. And as a result, what happens is that they get a sense of fear. They fear for themselves. Now, under this type of a circumstance, what happens is you get people who are going back and forth between these two poles here. Either I'm working to please the boss, or I'm trying to hide my flaws. If I hide my flaws, the boss isn't going to see where I'm weak. I'm going to get a good performance review, and so forth. This is the everyday strategy of using rewards and punishments in order to keep people responsible. It's ubiquitous. We see it all the time, and the biggest problem with it is that it doesn't work. It's easy to think of. It's the easiest thing to do, but it's not necessarily the most effective thing to do. The more effective things to do are usually more difficult. So, how do we cultivate responsibility and accountability? First, let's talk about what that means. One, what do we mean by responsibility? And what do we mean by accountability? Well, when I'm accountable, I am acting on the basis of your standards. You start off, I know what I'm supposed to do, and I do what I'm my job, and you evaluate me. I'm accountable to you. Now what we want is not simply accountability to the other, but we want responsibility. We want that to be internalized. We want the person to be able to do their job for themselves, keep responsibility for themselves, not because they're having somebody else look over them. So what responsibility is all about is a type of a commitment. I commit myself to doing the right thing because I think that it's right. And I don't need somebody else over my shoulder, that sort of thing. That's what we're talking about. Think of why you are responsible for anything that you do. You're responsible primarily because you care about the organization or about the rules that you are trying to uphold, and you care about the people that your behavior affects if you don't live up to those rules. It's about caring, and that raises the question, how do we get people to care? And one way we don't get people to care about the organization, to care about their behavior, is by giving them rewards and punishment. They're simply going to respond to the rewards and punishment. So what do? I think the way to think about this is what I like to call cultivating a continuously developing organization. A continuously developing organization. What's that about? If you can cultivate a continuously developing organization, is one in which the organization is constantly improving, constantly trying to improve itself. It's constantly trying to improve itself, and it's constantly trying to improve its employees, its leaders, its personnel, its products. Constant self-development. When that happens, that's a context for accepting responsibility. Why? Let me show you how a model of how a continuously developing organization works, and how responsibility of individuals develops in that context. Okay, let's play. So, a continuously developing organization. Continuously developing organization. Again, it's when it's constant self-improvement. And an organization does not improve by virtue of one person. It improves by virtue of people working together and collaborating. So, what do we have here? We have a whole bunch of people. This is the organization. How does a continuously developing organization work? Well, again, How do you get people to identify with your organization, to care about what they're doing, to care about the organization? You give them the opportunity to contribute to something good, something bigger than they are, that they can feel good about. In order to do that, first thing you do is you must cultivate a shared vision. Shared vision, okay? Shared set of problems, shared set of values. What are we trying to accomplish? That's going to be done through collaboration. Now, when a problem comes up, what we have is we collaborate. We engage in a process of collaborative problem solving. That's what we do in businesses and organizations. We constantly solve problems of how to deliver better care, to deliver better products, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when there's a problem, we get people together and they collaborate by identifying everybody's needs, what it is that everyone needs to do their job well, and finding ways to meet all of those needs at the same time as best as you can. When that happens, we put those solutions to the test. We monitor the solutions that come out of our collaboration, and we revise them if we need to. And what happens is, as we revise our solutions, our vision changes, and our organization continues to develop over time. Now, what has this got to do with responsibility and accountability? A lot. In a continuously developing organization, everybody's needs matter. It's an everybody culture. It's not a matter of the boss telling somebody else what their responsibilities are and then penalizing them or rewarding them when they do something right or wrong. Instead, this type of a framework where everybody's working together around a common vision, and if somebody doesn't buy into the vision, we try to figure out why. We try to identify their needs. We try to identify the obstacles that they have to buying into a vision. When that happens, when someone's identifying with the organization, they care. Now they care about the organization. They know the organization cares about them. And then whenever there's a problem, we get people together constantly to improve our practices, improve our vision, improve how we relate to each other. Now, this happens both on the level of the organization and on the level of the person. Now we're going to get at how it is that we really cultivate responsibility within individuals. If we take a look at this circle here and we apply it to a person, to an individual person, what do we have? Well, what we're going to have is something very similar. The person comes in, and instead of a job description that you simply give to the person, well, you give them a problem. That's what we're doing when we give jobs. When we have jobs, we have a problem to solve. And then what we do is, when we have that problem, we build on the person's passions. We build on the person's strengths. We build on the person's goals. We take into consideration that person's needs. And together, we formulate a shared vision of that person's job, what it is that they're doing. They're part of the process of helping to solve the problem that their job is an answer to. Because they do that, they're feeling valued. They're feeling that someone is investing in them, that the business, the corporation, the organization, the hospital is investing in the person's development. Now I feel that I am contributing to the organization and the organization is contributing to me. So that if a problem comes up in my work, or even if a problem doesn't come up, we're having meetings all the time to try to figure out how to make things better. A problem comes up and you and I, we collaborate. We bring the people together who are involved in the problem. We collaborate, and again, we ask everybody, what are the needs that are being violated? What are the needs that are being unmet? What are the obstacles that are standing in the way to doing a good job? Now, everybody is collaborating. Now, what's happening here is the boss isn't saying, you did a bad thing, this is the way to do it. No, the boss is there, the leader is there to say, how can we help you? And most important, what this creates is an atmosphere of safety, where my flaws, I don't try to hide them. In fact, it's just the opposite. I try to expose them. That a good company that is investing in the development of people says to people, I'm on your side. I want to promote your development. It helps to get the person to be safe enough to say, here's where I'm having the problem. And then we get together and we try to solve that problem, strengthen it. Person A helps person B with their problem. If person A has got a difficulty that they can't solve, well, maybe that part of the job goes over to somebody else, and the person who's had the initial problem is doing something different. We compensate for each other. We're working together. We collaborate to solve that problem. We monitor the problem with meetings. How's it going? How can I help, the boss says. And we revise and continuously revise our practices in order to contribute to our shared vision, which may change over time as I develop as a person. I become more powerful, more interesting, and now I care because I'm cared about. I identify with my organization because the organization is identifying with me. I spontaneously internalize the rules because I've helped to make them myself. And this company is part of who I am, and who I am is part of who this company is. This is where responsibility comes in. When there's a problem, collaboration in a safe way to lead people to buy into, rather than become afraid of, buy into the organization rather than being afraid that they're going to be exposed and pushed away. I'd love the opportunity to talk more about this with you, talk about responsibility and accountability, how to develop a program with you about how to cultivate this in your particular organization. I would need to have some information about that, but it's something I'd love to talk with you about. Thank you.